Hey guys, Dave Duford here at Final Expense Agent Mentor. Hope you guys are having a fantastic morning. It is May the 1st, 2017, and I am doing an ad hoc final expense presentation on final expense telemarketing leads because we've had some pretty significant changes in the telemarketing world, or at least going to experience them very soon. So I wanted to create a quick presentation on a new telemarketing lead that I'm offering, and in conjunction kind of explain to you what's happened as we get talking here with telemarketing, or what's going to happen, and then hopefully help you out. Hey Robert, how you doing? Thanks for joining. So let me go ahead and get this bad boy started. All right. So how final expense telemarketing leads work by David Duford, Final Expense Agent Mentor. So let's get right to it. So what I'm going to be talking about today is a quick breakdown on the new final expense telemarketing lead program that we're doing. I'm going to explain to you how they work, how we're now procuring telemarketing leads for final expense agents like yourself, and then explain to you the advantages of our lead programs, as well as the expectations of what you can expect to get out of the leads, and then kind of at the same time explain why these leads are superior in many ways over some of the alternatives, and some things you actually should beware in the process of making an order of any kind when it comes to telemarketing leads, and then explain to you over my desktop the next step to get started placing an order. Okay, so let's explain to you how the new mentorship telemarketing leads work. And again, I said mentorship, but these are available to everybody, but you're going to see very shortly how to get a significant discount, and I mean a huge discount, by being a part of one of two programs that I have offered or am offering. So first of all, the way we do our telemarketing is a little different. I, of course, am not a telemarketing house or do really much of anything in regards to procuring the leads. I partner with a gentleman that I have worked with for close to 2 to 3 years now in some capacity, who has extensive experience, not just generating a variety of different kinds of telemarketing leads, but also generating leads specific to the final expense market. So it's a little bit unique in our relationship. The gentleman I work with knows the final expense business very well, understands it, he's worked it himself, and so the kind of experience he has helped him generate good quality leads for final expense. So it's very important you understand that this isn't some slap up job type of partnership. I've worked with the same lead house for an extensive period of time, vetted them, they vetted myself, and really the outcome has been the creation of a lead program that actually does a good job of generating the kind of lead that we want with the kind of information that gives us the best chance of getting in the house and selling a deal. So what we're doing now that's a little different is that these are live telemarketing leads. I mentioned earlier there are some significant changes in the telemarketing business, and without going into too much detail, I can actually if you're interested later on. But what's happened is that avatars have been rendered or will be rendered illegal to the same tune that Press 1 leads and robocalls are illegal as of May 12th. So at the filming of this, 11 days left until avatars generation are considered outright illegal. So what we've done, and what many are going to do, or at least what they're claiming they're going to do, is to switch back to live telemarketing, where prior to avatar technology we would hire offshored agents to call for us to generate leads. So what we're going to be doing is hiring people in the Philippines and vetting them, as we'll talk about in a minute, to make sure that we're hiring the best professional telemarketers. This is very important to understand because there's a lot of organizations that sell final expense leads that really take anybody to do the actual lead generation aspect of the telephoning. And what you end up getting is a very inexpensive lead, but in exchange you get a lot less information, a lot less quality, and a lot more junk. Not saying you can't be profitable with leads like that. There are those that do, but for those agents that would like a caller that's a little bit better at speaking English, that can get more information on a telemarketing lead, then this is the kind of lead that will be perfect for you, as we'll describe in a second. Next here, again, real live people actually speak with your prospects using our proven lead generation script. We're basically going to be doing the same kind of demo information collection as we did with the avatars prior to them being rendered illegal. So the script worked really well, and I see no real reason to change it. The leads are both exclusive and fresh to you, and no one else will ever purchase or use them. Understand, again, you can be an agent of ours or not. You have access to purchase these leads, and they are both exclusive and fresh to you. So this is important to understand. You're not buying age leads, and you're not buying shared leads. When you place an order and we run the order, the leads are literally made the prior day after you receive them or before you receive them. And nobody else is ever going to use or touch them. So, it's very important with leads. You want to have leads that are yours and yours alone, that were made fresh yesterday, if at all possible. Anything else is just going to be more problematic than not. And then, just to clarify for those guys curious, this is the 50 to 85 age range, 0 to 50 income filter. This is typical final expense demographics, nothing fancy. We're not doing any sort of additional income filters or additional age filters. In the telemarketing world, it's becoming more and more difficult, especially for face-to-face agents to generate leads in a compact, geographically tight manner, simply because the do not call list grows with each passing year, which means our callable population minimizes. So the reality is that we have to keep these filters broad in order to give us the most impact and ability to generate leads for you. Back when I did filters, most of the problems we got from orders of those that had age filters when I offered them or income filters when I offered them. The idea is great, and it works great, especially if you're over the phone and you can call anywhere. That's a different story altogether. But face-to-face agents, when you start applying those filters, it's shocking that doing so will reduce the actual population of callable people by half. And it's hard for people to imagine, especially in populated areas, that that's possible. But it's just because the do not call filters they reign supreme. And there's just not a lot of people to call them anymore. So it puts us at a huge disadvantage whenever we do filters like that. Okay, so some of the advantages of these leads. So first of all, the fast turnaround. Typically, we run our leads a little different than a lot of lead houses do. We queue up an entire order, and then when your order is up to be called on, the entire call center calls that lead, that order for you. And so what happens, a lot of other guys, they'll call your orders along with others, and they'll spend 30 minutes to an hour calling it before they switch to the next one. And you'll have leads drip in at the tune of 1, 2, 3 a day. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I have found as a personal producer is I would rather have 25 leads made fresh yesterday, so I could do a very impactful, focused calling session or door knocking session to these leads, as opposed to having a bunch drip in while the older ones get older, and I have to wait a full week before I actually have 15 or 20 of them to actually do anything with them. So the way that we do ours is, again, different. We place your order. Depending on the order flow, it can take 7 days to 14 days before we get to yours. And then when we do, and assuming you got enough data on there, then what happens is that we call the entire day for you until the order is fulfilled. And then boom, in most circumstances, probably 80 to 90% of the time, you've got 25 fresh leads there ready to be purchased or ready to be worked. And I think it's the best way to do it. I do not prefer the drip as a producer, just because I'd rather just be focused and have a ton in hand and get right to the races with them all being fresh versus half being old, like with the drip approach. Again, and kind of ties into that, with enough data we can produce the whole order at once. Relative to other lead programs, especially direct mail, this is very inexpensive. You'll find that direct mail, of course, and this is the one reason people use telemarketing leads, because direct mail is around $30 a lead. It's $15 per lead for recurring orders with us, or if you just want a one-time order, it's $17 per lead. And one thing I want to point out here, there is two options to get a significant savings off of the listed price above. And it's this: if you're an agent of mine, or if you're related, you work with us in the final expense business through the final expense agent mentorship program, you get 50% off of your leads. So for example, your leads would be $750 per lead for recurring orders, or $850 per lead for one-time orders. So, you're looking at, I think the number was $187.50 for 25 leads for recurring orders. And then if you do one-time orders, it says $212.50, a significant savings. And I'm also offering this discount for my soon-to-be-released Final Expense Agent Inner Circle program. And this is actually the first time I've mentioned this. Down the line, there's going to be a lot of information on it. I'm probably just a little bit preempting myself here. But as you'll see shortly, this is a program that is for those who are not a part of the mentorship program. But we're going to offer significant savings to Inner Circle members. So if you have any interest in this, stay tuned. I promise within the next couple of weeks, you're going to be very excited about what we have to offer and show you when it comes to the Inner Circle program. So what can you expect from these leads, and what kind of recommendations do I have for you? So first of all, good agents can close to 3 to 5 applications for every 25 live telemarketing leads purchased. Again, that's going to vary upon your abilities. We don't give any guarantees here, but we generally see agents that go out there, work these leads, see the people, whether it's door knocks or phone calls, they actually can convert this many. And the great thing is if you get the discounts, if you're in the Inner Circle program, one deal is going to cover your costs and then some. And then even if you only close 3, it's a highly profitable, high ROI type of lead because the leads just cost next to nothing to procure for you. Next, make sure you provide 5 to 8 counties for maximum opportunity to quickly generate leads. We do this to play it safe. You may not need all 5 counties. You may not need 8 counties. But we ask for that many just to make sure we've got enough data on the front end to make sure that when it's time to put your order in the front of the line, we've got enough data because of the limitations of the do not call list to get you to the leads that you want in a maximized sense. So again, as we develop leads for your area might be very responsive. There's one agent in particular that works out in West Tennessee, and this particular county is highly responsive, and we only do one county for him. And so he stays very focused, but not all counties are really like that. And it really doesn't, we don't really know until we work an area, so we ask for this many just to play it safe. Next, you can only exclude 5 zip codes max. We cannot provide down to the zip code specifications. We can exclude a few that you just do not want to go in for whatever reason, but beyond 5 we cannot help you because, again, too much exclusion, too much filtering really reduces the turnaround time for your leads, and it actually just costs us more to generate the leads than it does for us to sell them to you. Leads will include hooks to better help you secure the appointment. If you're used to our former avatar leads that we don't offer anymore, we find typically a favorite color, hobby, the desired beneficiaries, desired face amount, etc. I say etc. because we will rotate these out from time to time just to kind of see what helps us the best, and sometimes to keep these leads fresh as well. Can be both door knocked and called over the phone. One last thing I'll mention here before I go to the very last or second to last part. Prices are subject to change. As they are listed here, as of May 1st, 2017, this may change because inputs may cost more. If it becomes harder to generate leads overall, we may charge a higher price, of which we pass on to you. Understand that we're just saying this now ahead of time so as not to have you find out that the prices are way higher. But I do stand by the fact that if you are a mentorship agent or an Inner Circle member, you will get the significant 50% plus discount. So either way, if you're a part of one of those programs, you will be taken care of and have an excellent price. So why Final Expense Agent Mentor leads over the competition? Why should you buy our telemarketing leads instead of other guys? A couple of points here. Our telemarketers receive extreme vetting. The main thing with what I mean by extreme vetting is that telemarketing leads can tend to be junk. I know one vendor in particular that does very little on the front end of vetting his agents that call, as well as vetting the script, and it's a very cursory basic script combined with very hard to understand callers. And the leads, yes, are cheaper, even cheaper than my discounted leads, but they're just not really quote unquote leads. One lead vendor in particular that I worked with, actually it's the same one. I personally work these leads. I've never quit working leads before in my entire 6-year career plus as a final expense producer until I ran this guy's leads. I I had 3 no-shows in a row. And then the 4th one, I called early to let me show up and pitch the person early. They agreed. So I was kind of excited. I thought, hey, I'm actually going to talk to somebody. Maybe I'll sell them. And then I got there, and the lady freaking called the cops on me. She was worried that the callers sounded like they were from the Middle East, and she thought she was getting scammed. And the lady admittedly was obviously a little nuts, but she was afraid. And a lot of it was because of the aggressive nature of these so-called leads that were generated. And so, not all leads are treated the same. And you got to be careful with whom you have call. And so that's why we do this extreme vetting approach, because we don't want you to waste your time like I did with a bunch of crap leads. And we want you spending time with actual real leads that have fit our qualifiers and will help you, again, spend more time with people who are more likely to buy. We can get the recordings for you. This is important because, as we'll go through later, there are going to be many vendors that still do avatar generation technology but claim to be live. So if you are wanting the recordings, just make sure you ask us after you submit your order. Just send us an email via the contact box on the website, and we'll be happy to include that with your order. We just don't usually include the recordings just to make it less of an obstacle for us to get the orders out. But we can include them at no additional cost. It is not a big deal for us. Just ask us. That's all we ask you to do is say, hey, Dave, please make sure the recordings are included. We'll make a note. And then when you get your leads on a spreadsheet, as we send it over, you'll have the recordings to listen to. Many vendors will continue to sell now illegal avatar leads, claiming they'll be compliant. Live telemarketing leads, again, just beware of this. I suspect this will happen. It's very likely this will happen because that's how the lead business is. It's like the used car sales people business. You just got to be wary. But we're definitely interested in being compliant. I don't want any problems as an aggregator or lead vendor. And so my goal is compliant, quality live telemarketing leads from here on out. Huge discount as a mentorship agent or as an Inner Circle member, like I mentioned earlier. If you're part of one of these programs, and I hope you are, you get a significant discount versus the retail price that non-members and non-mentorship agents will receive. So you want to make sure to join if you haven't already. And how to get started. Okay, so I'm going to take you off of my presentation here and show you exactly what to do. This just kind of tells you what to do visually. I'm going to show you how to do this if you're a retail buyer, and how to do this. If you're interested in joining the mentorship program or the Inner Circle program, just shoot me an email and I'll give you some information on how it works. And again, notes here. Orders take 1 to 2 weeks to begin turning around. So understand that that's kind of what we're looking at as typical time horizons. It's going to be closer to 2 weeks than 1 week, kind of based on experience. Sometimes again faster. Again, it just depends on how many orders are in front of us. So we have no way of knowing that with a multitude of time advance. So okay, let me take you off here. I'm going to show you how to order these things. All right, so if you go to this website, this is feagentmentor.com /final-expense-telemarketing-leads / scroll on down here. You're going to see this video on here eventually, in just a second. And then you're going to see 2 options here. You're going to see the option to buy a one-time order 25 leads. And then you're going to see the one-time order for recurring leads. Recurring leads. And then you can put the counties you want down here, whatever those are, and then just place buy now. You'll be directed to a PayPal webpage, and then you have to finalize your order. You can pay. Once you click the buy now button, it'll take you to a PayPal checkout. You can use your credit card. In fact, let me see if I can get it to show up here, because I have a lot of questions and concerns about being able to do that. So just 1 second. We'll see if we can get this to work. All right. So if you see right here at the bottom, I can log in. I could pay with PayPal, or I can click on pay with debit or credit card. So if you click here, this will pop up. I don't know if it'll let me. I think it will. Okay. Yeah. You just fill out your stuff like normal. Pretty straightforward. And pay now, and boom, we got it done. So there we have it. That's your new final expense live telemarketing program. Let me see what kind of questions we got here real quick. Oh boy, it's 10:10 already. Got my conference call here in a sec. West of Havana, how you doing? How do I join the Inner Circle? Get on my email list if you haven't already. That's where I'm going to first announce how that is. You can just go to, I'll even show you here, feagentmentor.com if you go to the website, over on the right side, you're going to see Join Dave's No BS Final Expense newsletter. You'll also get a bunch of free training stuff from me. Put your name in and your email, and then hit subscribe. And then sometime over the next couple of weeks, while I finalize everything up, you'll get a notification about how the Inner Circle program works. To kind of tease it a little bit, it's going to be, well, how can I describe? The biggest complaint I get from agents is the lack of training that's out there. That's why many people join the mentorship program, and you know, they get to work directly with me. But there's a lot of you guys that watch my stuff that don't have specific actual one-on-one training, but for whatever reason don't join my program. And so this mentorship, or I should say this Inner Circle program, is going to be extreme coaching in a group fashion, and it's going to provide a level of help and success to agents that need it, that aren't getting it from their current setup. So you don't have to be a mentorship agent to get access to it. Of course, my mentorship agents will have complete free access to it. It is a membership program on a monthly basis. I'm going to have a ton of training material that I'm going to give out as well. You're going to have access to me. There's going to be ride-along opportunities. It's going to be completely awesome. And I'm really excited about rolling it out. And I'm almost at the point where I'm going to start talking pretty hot and heavy about it. Robert says, can the scripts communicate for telesales agents that work on the phone, not in house appointments? Yeah. If you wanted to do these for telesales, absolutely, Robert. That's fine. I've actually got another one. This really wasn't intended for this video, but I'll mention it. I've got another lead program that I'm willing to. So if you guys, this is attention telesales agents. If you sell on the phone and that's all you do, I've got a leads program I'd like to beta test with you. If you'll cover my costs, I've got an internet lead that I think I can get and sell for retail around $10 a lead. I discount a little bit of that if you're interested in that, but it's really a telesales only kind of lead. It cannot be face-to-face. It involves buying up a lot of states to offer the leads. And Robert, just send me an email. Go to my webpage and click contact, and I'll send you some information over. And yeah, so it's an internet-based lead. It's got all the basic internet leads, but it's way less expensive than the Facebook leads that we do. The only disadvantage is you got to take everything that comes in the whole state, so it's a little different. So okay, guys, that's it for me. That is my quick video on the new live final expense training or final expense telemarketing lead program. I'm still doing my live stream today at 12 o'clock in about an hour and 47 minutes. We're going to talk about how to transition from a part-time final expense, or how to transition from your current career into final expense. So I'm going to talk to you how I did it, how I went from selling personal training, and then how I failed out of the business, came back after selling for a Fortune 500 business full-time basis, how I got back into final expense, and kind of just hopefully give you some tips and tricks on how to do it without giving up your full-time gig if you're not ready to, and kind of what you need to do in order to be ready for it. So join me there shortly. Otherwise, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you here shortly, okay? Take care.